Yes. Anita Murthy? Yeah. So she's here? Yeah, okay. Go ahead. She's speaking on anticoagulant and antiplatelet. It's already discussed, but go brief, yeah?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So, thank you, dear chairpersons, and then Epicon organizing team for the great opportunity. Today, my talk is the anticoagulants and antiplatelets in stroke: what, when, and why. So here, as you all know, that the stroke is a devastating condition with a significant morbidity and mortality worldwide. The antithrombotic antiplatelet to start when and how and what. So here the single or dual antiplatelet therapy is generally preferred in case of the large artery atherosclerosis and small vessel disease. Whereas the anticoagulation is recommended in patients with the blood stasis or hypercoagulable state that mostly result in the red thrombi. However, there will be a challenging while starting the pharmacological management. These are all the overview of the ischemic stroke types. So in case of the large artery atherosclerosis, go for the dual antiplatelet therapy preferred up to 90 days. In sometimes and late, following which the single antiplatelet therapy aspirin is preferred. It based on the block location, stenosis and intervention preferred. In case of the small vessel disease, there is no standardized antithrombotic therapy. Benefit of cilostazol is still uncertain. In case of the cardioembolism, due to the atrial fibrillation, the oral anticoagulants is preferred, and then vitamin K antagonist in case of the rheumatic mitral disease. And then LV thrombus, the oral anticoagulants, vitamin K is preferred. And mechanical valve, the oral anticoagulants, and then vitamin K is preferred again. In case of the embolism due to the undetermined etiology, the antithrombotic treatment based on the specific etiology. In case of the cryptogenic source, the single antiplatelet therapy aspirin is preferred most. So these are all the source of the Ebola in case of the undetermined etiology like valvular heart disease and atherosclerotic disease, arrhythmias, patent foramen ovale and neoplasm. So what do the guidelines says? So here we need to know the two words from this slide, that is the class of the recommendation and the level of the evidence. I am not going to through this in detail. So the class 1 recommendation is strong and class 2 is moderate and class 2B is weak and class 3 is harm. So here the level of evidence, level A is a high quality of evidence and level B is a randomized trial and level B is non-randomized and the limited data and C is the expert opinion. So what are all the drugs, antiplatelet and anticoagulants unavailable? Here, the available antiplatelet agents are aspirin, clopidogrel, cilostazol and ticagrelor. So the aspirin is a first line agent as per the AHA guidelines. The dose is 75 to 100 milligram QID inhibit the cyclooxygenase and less thromboxane A2. And the side effect is ICH. Benefits still outweigh the risk and GI bleeding. The clopidogrel is 75 milligram OD inhibit the ADP receptor compared with the aspirin. Similar efficacy to prevent the ischemic stroke and less GI bleed as per the CAPIR trial and might prevent the more cardiovascular events. And cilostazol dose is the 100 milligram BD that inhibit the phosphodiesterase 3 and more CAMP, that is activate protein kinase A, may be better for the small vessel disease, that is the lacunar infarct or high risk of the bleeding. So, but contraindication is the heart failure. These are all the overview of the antiplatelet available agents, that is the aspirin and P2Y2 antagonists like clopidogrel and prasugrel, ticagrelor and GP2B3A inhibitors like apixaban, and tirofiban and PDE inhibitor, diprodamol and cilostazol. So these are all the overall mechanism. Whenever there is a disturbed block that will activate the blood and then the platelet activation, there are the various mechanisms. Here you can see the P2Y2 antagonist and GP2B3A blockers and COX inhibitor and phosphodiesterase inhibitors, the various anticoagulants. So I'm not going to go through this full. So here what the physician should know. So based on the multiple antiplatelet, the cytochrome T metabolism, when to hold the dose prior to the surgery, when they will get a physician opinion before going for the procedures. We need to stop the aspirin 7 days before the procedure and then clopidogrel 5 to 7 days before the procedure and prasugrel 7 days before the procedure and ticagrelor 5 days before the procedure based on the cytochrome metabolism. These are all the dose selection of the oral anticoagulants like dabigatran, rivaroxaban, apixaban and edoxaban. So we saw what are the drugs available. Now we're going to when we need to start. So here are the categorization of the intracranial atherosclerotic disease and then extracranial atherosclerotic disease. In case of the intracranial atherosclerotic disease, stroke and then the carotid artery Doppler showing 50 to 99% of the stenosis means we need to go for the aspirin 325 milligram and celestazole is this is based on the class of recommendation what I already described. The class 1 is a strong recommendation. And then the recent stroke with 70 to 99% stenosis go for the dual antiplatelet therapy for 3 months and long-term aspirin therapy. In case of the acute minor stroke with more than 30% stenosis, again go for the dual antiplatelet up to 30 days and long-term aspirin therapy. In case of the extracranial atherosclerotic disease like vertebral stenosis, go for the single antiplatelet therapy and carotid stenosis but not revascularized, again go for the single antiplatelet therapy. Carotid artery stenting, here go for the dual antiplatelet therapy for up to 30 days and long-term single antiplatelet therapy. And carotid endarterectomy, again the single antiplatelet therapy. In case of the small vessel disease, again go for the celestazole. So this is for the cardioembolic origin of the stroke. In case of the atrial fibrillation, most commonly we see, in case of the non-valvular origin of the atrial fibrillation, go for the oral anticoagulants. In case of the valvular heart disease, is split up at multiple levels. The valvular heart disease, that is a mitral stenosis or any mechanical valve, go for the warfarin with INR, we need to maintain 2 to 3. And non-rheumatic mitral and aortic disease, single antiplatelet therapy. Mechanical mitral valve, again the warfarin 2.5 to 3.5. Here is 2 to 3, here is 2.5 to 3.5 with the aspirin. And mechanical aortic valve, warfarin 2.5 to 3.5, but the stage of recommendation is 2. And bioprosthetic mitral and aortic valve, single antiplatelet therapy. In case of the LV or LA thrombus, warfarin for at least 3 months. In case of the patent foramen oval, the PFO closure and then the antiplatelet therapy. In case of the cryptogenic, go for the single antiplatelet therapy, aspirin. So always we have a confusion. What is meant by the antithrombotic therapy? Which group we need to start antiplatelet and which group we need to start anticoagulants? See, here is the answer. In case of the high velocity states affecting the arteries like a cerebrovascular disease, coronary artery disease and peripheral arterial disease, go for the antiplatelet therapy like aspirin, clopidogrel, prasugrel and ticagrelor. In case of the low velocity disease affecting the vein plus left atrium, go for the anticoagulants like pulmonary embolism, atrial fibrillation and deep vein thrombosis. This is the rule of thumb, but still we have an individualized decision regarding the patient. Now we come to the proper. Based on the AHA guidelines for starting the antiplatelet therapy in acute ischemic stroke, I already described the terms. The class of recommendation 1 and level of evidence A recommends administration of aspirin is recommended in patient with the acute ischemic stroke within 24 to 48 hours of onset. And after IV thrombolysis, aspirin should be given after 24 hours. Aspirin is not recommended as a substitute for acute stroke treatment in patients who are otherwise eligible for IV alteplase or mechanical thrombectomy. So next is the antiplatelet in case of the minor stroke, that is class 2A and B recommendation. In case of the minor stroke, which can be clinically defined as well, NIHS score is less than 3 and ABCD2 score more than 4. Here, dual antiplatelet therapy, that is the aspirin with clopidogrel for 21 days, start within 24 hours of onset and follow it up with 90 days of clopidogrel. So already told that the class 3 is a harm. Administration of the glycoprotein 2B3A receptor antagonist, including the apixaban, in the treatment of acute ischemic stroke is potentially harmful and should not be performed. Further research regarding the safety and efficacy of this medication in acute ischemic stroke patient is required. This is for the non-cardioembolic acute ischemic stroke secondary prevention. How we need to prevent? The patient with a non-cardioembolic stroke, the use of antiplatelets rather than anticoagulants is recommended to reduce the risk of the events. The class 1 and level of evidence A is the again antiplatelet is aspirin. Here in non-cardioembolic secondary prevention is aspirin. You can remember like this. For patients who have a non-cardioembolic stroke while taking antiplatelet therapy, switching to warfarin is not beneficial for secondary stroke prevention. Already told, class 3 is there is no benefit. Next is the stroke and atrial fibrillation. For patient with the stroke in the setting of atrial fibrillation, it is reasonable to initiate the oral anticoagulants within 4 to 14 days after the onset of neurological symptom as per class 2A recommendation. and evolution of the Chart-Baxter score that estimate the stroke risk in patient with the AF. Here, we need to decide on antiplatelets or anticoagulants if the score is 1 and mandatory anticoagulation score is more than 2 or equal to 2. Here you can see in Chart-Baxter score is 0 means there is no antithrombotic recommendation. In 1 we need to consider whether antiplatelet or anticoagulation. If it is more than 2, no doubt mandatory anticoagulation. So new oral anticoagulants in case of the stroke. Here the usefulness of dabigatran and rivaroxaban and apixaban in patient with the AF and past ICH to decrease the risk of the recurrence is uncertain. This 2B and C recommendation. Therefore, the warfarin is preferred anticoagulant in patient with the AF and stroke with the need of the secondary prevention. Here, we need to clearly observe the antithrombotic treatment in patients with the mechanical or the bioprosthetic valve. For patients with the prosthetic valve, anticoagulation with the vitamin K antagonist and periodic monitoring of INR is recommended. Here, if you closely observe, patient with the aortic valve replacement with no risk factors for thromboembolism maintain the target INR of 2.5. But in patient with aortic valve replacement with thromboembolic events like complications like AF or left ventricular dysfunction or previous VT thromboembolism means the INR target is 3 is increased. In patient with the mechanical mitral valve, the target is 3. So here the decision. In case of the stroke with arterial dissection, patient with the stroke and extracranial like carotid vertebral artery dissection, treatment with the either antiplatelet anticoagulant for 3 to 6 months is reasonable. The guidelines for anticoagulation in stroke, the urgent anticoagulation with the goal of prevention of early stroke, halting the neurological worsening, actually it is not recommended, there is no benefit. So when to start? The American College of Chest Physicians recommend the starting a prophylactic dose of the heparin after an ICH with no clear guidance and restarting the warfarin if the risk of thromboembolism is very high. Whereas in case of the European stroke recommends the patient with strong indication for anticoagulation such as history of embolic stroke and AF, restarting and warfarin after 10 to 14 days. And American Heart Association suggests the patient with a high risk of thromboembolism for whom starting warfarin is considered may be restarted up to 7 to 10 days. So now you can come to a take-home message. Just think of large artery atherosclerosis, go for dual antiplatelet therapy and a long-term single antiplatelet. Whereas in case of cardioembolism and oral anticoagulants. So thank you.
Thank you very much. In the last slides, he has already summarized it. But still, if any pertinent question, we can allow 1 or 2 questions. No? Okay. Organizers say no. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any more speaker? No?